So this is the story of how I met and got married to my husband. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. I'm Nicole, and in today's video, by the title, you will see that I'll be telling you a little story. Well, yeah, it's a story time of how I met and a little story of, how I got married to my now husband. Now, there are persons who would already know this story from my blog. However, I felt like I needed to put it on here on the more virtual platform, because I feel like it could help someone on their own journey in relationships and dating and, all the works. But I just said that I would share it here. And I'm so excited to, because I love, love telling this story, right? So, first and foremost, to give you a little backstory, I went to the Yorton Primary School in St. Catherine. My husband also did. Uh, Going to school, we weren't really that close. However, we still, knew that each other existed. And, that was that. Now, leaving primary school, we went to two different high schools, and we weren't really in each other's vicinity. My school was in Kingston, his school was still in St. Catherine. So at different times, our schedule hardly came together to say, hey, we went to the same primary school and so forth. So we weren't so close. We weren't close at all in our early high school days and even our later high school days. We went through high school. I don't recall seeing him throughout my high school years, honestly, looking back. So I ventured off to university, and I went to, there's a main campus in Mandeville, but I went to an extension campus that was in Kingston. That was NCU. So that's where I first started going to NCU. It was the Kingston campus. And I remember, I was there for a few years going part-time. I wasn't working either, but I just did not want, as young as I was, I just did not want to move to Mandeville on my own, because I was just really scared, being away from my parents at that early age, and I wasn't used to sleeping over at anybody's house and going out like that. No, I wasn't so used to it. So I was very shy and timid and all of that. So I preferred to stay at home and travel to the nearest campus, which was in Kingston. However, I went into some difficulties, and I had to go to the Mandeville campus, and that's where I finished up university, and it was some good years. I can't dispute the fact. However, when I transferred to Mandeville campus, I got to realize that, oh, sorry, I missed out a part. Forgive me. I started attending a church in Linstead, and well, I used to attend the church, but I wasn't a member. I wasn't baptized. I wasn't Christian as yet. And I know that's where I first saw him again. So I, would visit the church a few times with my parents. And at that stage of my life, I was deep in sin. I didn't want to know God. I didn't want to come into the whole Christianity thing, because at that time I just wanted to live my life. And I'm honestly speaking, and I can say that I see persons right now that was going through the same thing as me. But there comes a point in your time, in your life, that you have to realize that there is more to life than all this worldly stuff. And you may say that, oh, you have a long life to live, but eternity is longer, and you need to be sure of where you're going after this life ends. Yeah, I began to see him at church and everything. And then a few months after that, I decided to give my life to God, because that was in 2018. And if you watched my introduction video, you will know my testimony of how I got saved. And I just really couldn't bother with life anymore. Life didn't feel like it had any purpose, and I just felt myself drawing to God. And I said that, okay, I am going to take this next step, and I'm going to put everything behind me, no matter what I was going through, all the relationship problems, all the failed friendships, everything. I was just gonna put that behind me, and I was going to give my life over to God. I'm gonna change my lifestyle and everything. Yeah, I did that. And on the day that I got baptized, he was actually at church, and I saw him, and he congratulated me and everything, and everything was good. And a few months after that, I moved to the Mandeville campus. And first of all, I didn't know anyone on that campus. I was very new to the area, the community, the school. So I had no friends. I had to be starting over like a freshman, but I wasn't a freshman. Now, when I got to Mandeville, I had to know the area by myself somewhat, whenever I could. I got to know some people. They were friends and everything. However, there was one day that I was walking on the road. I wanted to get something to eat, so I went to the Juicy Beef. And as I was walking into the Juicy Beef, that's when I saw Lepal, which is my husband. That's when I saw him coming out, and I was surprised because I didn't know that he knew this side of Jamaica. But as I said before, we didn't really have any connection, nothing at all. We had each other's numbers, but that was basically it. And I got to realize that he was actually going to school in that same parish. And I was surprised, and I was like, hey, say, I don't know anybody here. Can we hang out, and you show me around, and where are the good spots, and what young people, university people do in this side of Jamaica. And he was like, okay, cool. And we agreed to meet up on the weekend of that week, right? So this was now in 2019. We met up, and we hung out, and we chit chat, and everything was going good. And then because we knew that because I knew that he was now in the parish, I had somebody I could rely on. I had somebody I could call and say, hey, where do I find this? Hey, what do I do here? And everything. So I basically called him. I don't know if I was annoying him or what, but I basically called him for everything, because he was more acquainted with the town than I was. And I was very happy that I could call somebody that I know and ask them for favors and everything. So as days went by, weeks went by, we got to talking on the phone. And because our degrees are a bit similar in part, so I studied social work, and in a part of social work there is a counseling section that you have to do. And he was also studying his main degree, and it had minor in guidance and counseling. And it became so good that he could help me with my assignments. I would sometimes, well, he mostly helped me with my I just mainly looked at his and I was like, okay, you're good and everything, but he helped me with my assignments. And he was just very helpful. He was very into it, and he was just genuine about it. So I felt good, and I would always call him up with something I don't understand, and he would always help it out. If he couldn't do it, he got somebody to help me with it, and I was so grateful for that. And I remember we were talking on the phone frequently, video calls, texting, you name it. We basically texted on all social media platforms that we had, you name it. Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. We were talking on it, all different conversations. But that one moment, and in that one time where you would be talking to somebody on different platforms, different conversations, but it didn't feel weird. Yeah, that's the type of thing that was happening, and I felt it like it was normal. And because we were talking so much, spending so much time together, it felt so much like we were best friends. And we went out. Well, it's kind of like a date, but not a date, if you know what I mean. It was just ice cream, and we went out and we talked, and we both were single, and we decided to get to know each other a little better. And after that, we started hanging. Well, we were already hanging out. We were just hanging out now on a more official term. So we got to hang out. We went to movies, we went to picnics and everything. And also, I did not mention this, but he is a pastor. So ministerial activities, if it is like a preaching engagement, or if it's something to do with any church business, I would sometimes be there with him, and we would participate in activities in churches and wherever we would go and stuff. And I mean, it was really nice, and as I said, it felt like I was with my best friend. And to be honest, when I'm looking back now, I really did not see all of this coming. I mean, I know that we were getting to know each other, but the way how it felt, it just felt like something that I didn't need to try. I didn't have to, okay, I need to make sure I do this because I want him to like me, or I do this because I want everything to go well. No, we were just being ourselves, and we were just making the most of times that we had together, and it blossomed into this beautiful marriage that I am so grateful for. But I'm not finished. Okay, so we were there dating, and not many persons knew, only selected persons. And then I remember, fast forwarding to how we proposed, I remember when we were going to, it was one of our friends' birthday, and I think it was the week end or the month end. I think it was the month end of that friend's birthday month. And he told me that, okay, they're throwing a surprise party for him. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And we went out to shop for clothes to wear. And I'm like, okay, I want this color, but he wants me to pick something in blue. I'm like, I like this. And he's like, I'm not too feeling that one. I like this one, the blue one here. And I'm like, okay, everything that he's choosing is blue. And I'm like, all right, he probably wants us to match up or something. But I didn't even know what color he was going to wear that time. So while shopping and everything, and we finally got the dress, because that shopping for that dress, I think it took 2 days. And I was like, all right, this is so extreme, this is kind of extra, because why am I going through so much for just a birthday party, and you know, it has to be so much trouble. I didn't pay that any mind. I can give a more detailed story of that day, but just fasting forward, it was no birthday party at all. It was actually a surprise proposal for me, and it blew me away. I did not expect it. He planned everything. He went behind my back and he did everything. He got persons to cover for him. I still look back this day and I'm like, how did I not see that? Because I still can't think about it right now, but you know, everything came together and I accepted the proposal, and you know, everything was just, it took off after that, because we got married. He proposed the May of 2021 and we got married January of 2022, and after that it was just all coming together, the dress, the venue, everything. It was so surreal, because even though it felt like a lot, everything just was, you know, in place. And I'm just so happy that we went through that, and we learned things about each other that we didn't know, and it was just a learning curve after that. And you know, in marriage we're still learning about each other, and we will never stop learning. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you want a detailed version of the surprise proposal, because that is a story in itself. But I am just so happy that I got to share this experience with you. And I just want to, the advice that I want to give anybody that is dating right now, or they look to date, I want to tell you to seek God first, right? Because you can't use a relationship to fill any void that you have. You have to seek God first, and he will fill any empty holes. He will fill anything that you feel that is burdening you. He will take that away and give you beautiful ashes, right? And I just want to say that once you give everything over to God, he will fix it for you. And don't work on your timing, you have to work on God's timing, because you don't know what God is doing on your behalf. So you don't want to rush anything, but you just want to trust him, trust that he'll guide you, trust that he'll provide everything that you need, and everything will come through. So I just want to tell somebody today that, you know, no matter what you're going through in a relationship, just give it over to God. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. However, once you have God in the center of it all, it will work out for your good. So I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you like, share, and subscribe. And I hope that you leave a comment down below of what else that you would want to see from me in my story times, or just in any little chit chat videos that you like me to talk about. And you know, we'll see what uncovers from there.